Well, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case might be. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. We're here in the first round of the bracket stage, and we're here in this matchup between the number 1 seeded Schulzer and the number 64 seeded Khloe Prower. Now, that's not a mistake there on the tracker. Khloe Prower won game number 1. I'm Adirondack Rick, being joined by Slim Kirby. Slim Kirby, you got your milk?
I have plenty of milk, and milk I will definitely need. I'm really excited to see this race. Like you mentioned, we have a potential for a 64 seed actually knocking out the number 1 seed here. Now, we do have Tournament Hard. This is the mode that our runners have probably played the most, just due to the nature of the qualifiers. And from what I remember, I believe Schulzer was ranked 2nd in the qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct, and that was the reason why Schulzer got the number 1 seed, because Schulzer was the top seeded person to go 6-0, 1 spot ahead of Andy, who was ranked number 3, who wound up getting the number 2 seed here in this bracket stage. The runners are getting ready. They're all set to go. Slim, before we go, what's our go mode?
Our go mode is probably going to be, I'm going to say Samaria this time.
I'm going to say the Quake Medallion.
Okay. That's another good choice, too.
Yep, also our tracker Link Force doing the buttons is saying a sword. As we're underway, let's begin this match. Again, Khloe Prower up 1-0 in this series, and Schulzer needing to win this to stay alive as the number 1 seed in the tournament. And it's been kind of a brutal run for our 6-0s through the opening game of these tournaments.
Yeah, that is actually correct. I believe the only exception, Vortex of Doom, has officially moved on to the second round and did not lose a game in the process. But I think our other 6-0s have at least had some kind of resistance from these kind of lower seeded runners, and that's honestly pretty cool to see that this seed does not determine everything here.
Yeah, I know Furious Magic ended up winning their game number 1. I don't think they've had their game 2 yet.
That's right. That's correct.
We are going to see if Aghanim is going to be required, and definitely not for those 10 arrows, as Schulzer drops on. And we see, well, there goes my answer.
Literally the first unique item we found.
The first button that Link Force gets to click on that tracker turns out to be the Quake Medallion, which takes me out of the running, but your Samaria is still alive.
Until we find it for the second item.
That will be absolutely crazy if it turns out to be Quake, then Medallion, then we get Master Sword in quick succession to take us, all 3 of us, out of the running. So bombs falling by the tree is definitely helping us out here, allowing us to get to the back of the blind hut to be able to see what we have behind there. A lot of words to go ahead and say that we can bomb this wall.
Ooh, half magic, not.
Yep, as we mentioned at the very beginning of this is Tournament Hard, so we're seeing a whole lot of hard pieces, and we're going to see that half magic turn into that small thing of magic. Well, we did not get the Can of Samaria as our second clickable item on the tracker.
But we do get the Moon Pearl, though, and that is going to be a very, very important item. You will need it in every seed you do in these tournaments, so yeah, good to find that early.
Yeah, nobody's been able to figure out a way to avoid having the Moon Pearl in the seed, especially given a lot of the things that you need to do to get to the end game of this seed. We find the third clickable item on the tracker is boots.
Yep, so we're going to be seeing Schulzer rushing around Kakriko here. Khloe will not be too far behind.
Yeah, the main difference here, Khloe Prower scouted out what is at the Lumberjack tree. Schulzer now getting a ×3 return from the bottle vendor.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you'll still lose that initial 100, but you still have 200 extras that you can start using to save up for that Zora money at some point.
Yeah, in that sense, it's a 2-to-1 return on your investment. Schulzer ends up getting the bottle, so that makes the Sick Kid going to be one of our checks before we leave this village.
Yep, and this being the tournament hard variant, this will be the only bottle that we'll find in this seed.
Another piece of heart in the back of the tavern. Now let's go see what the Sick Kid has in store. The only shield we're going to find.
Yep, so we're finding a lot of those kind of safety items that are going to be kind of limited in this tournament hard variant. Obviously, we saw that small magic incanter, which replaces half magic. We'll not be getting half magic in this seed. We won't have any mail upgrades. As far as swords are concerned, all 4 are placed, but we can only get a max of 3. And of course, like you mentioned, the shield, only shield we're going to be getting, only 1 bottle we're going to be getting, and we're going to also be getting the lamp here in the library.
That's a fun lamp location right there inside of the library. Now we're going to go ahead and check the race game, see what we have there before we head out of this town. And we want that sword. We want that sword.
This seed is kind of, I mean, obviously we know that we're not going to be doing it for the lumberjack tree item, obviously, but, you know, we're really just another sword or a cape away from Aghanim being in logic to get to the Dark World.
You watch your mouth.
I will not do such a thing.
Why would you wish that upon our runners?
I didn't wish. I was just saying it's a possibility.
9 seconds for Schulzer, grabs the sword, which is considered trash by the kid. And now, the check inside Link's house turns out to be 3 bombs. Schulzer probably wished he had them before spending the 50 rupees on a new pack of bombs.
Yeah, probably.
But down we go. 9 seconds for Khloe Prower as well. Time to check the dam. And one of our 48.
Yep, that's right. In this tournament hard variant, there are 48 heart pieces that are placed. I believe it even replaces most of the heart containers, the Sank heart being the only one that's not affected by that.
Yeah, you don't get many heart containers in this mode. It's not necessarily all the heart containers that get replaced, but most of them do.
Most of them got it.
I think it's like, what, 5 in all or 6 in all at some point?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Basically, there's a lot of heart pieces.
Mini Moldorm Cave for Schulzer. 1 bomb, 2 bombs, 3 bombs, they're out. Silvers, not our first bow.
Ooh, shovel.
And the cane that isn't Samaria. Yep, 5 hearts altogether are in the pool. 4 of them being regular hearts, the other one being Sanctuary Heart.
Yep, and now Khloe going inside Mini Moldorm Cave after giving Schulzer a nice little high five on his way out.
Schulzer now going to check to see what we have at the Ice Rod Cave. Ice Rod Cave will lead us to some decisions to make. We don't have a lot of rupees at this point. So Zora's kind of a hard make.
Ooh.
And Slim, what is that I just saw?
We just saw the cape, Rick. We just saw the cape.
You're going to will this into existence, aren't you?
I mean, hey, if that's what the seed wants to do, that's what the seed wants to do. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, Schulzer now dashing to find out what we have at the waterfall. 281 rupees, so not enough to get the Zora item. Now we have enough to get the Zora item.
Yeah.
Green goo is our free fill-up. Khloe Prower getting ready to dash into some water as well. Oh!
Ooh,
Hey, that's something.
that is very much something. That is the hammer. But where are the flippers to logically get that hammer?
Not there. That's one of our 48. Schulzer will not get the hammer just yet. Does not have the ability to pull off the ancillary tricks just now, but we'll put it into the memory bank for later. And it looks like we're immediately going to see what we have for that shovel.
Yeah, we have the boots, so this is a pretty quick check, and always kind of good to kind of get it out of the way when you're kind of, especially at the beginning here when we're still trying to look for some extra items to potentially try to avoid the Aghanim dip.
That's one of our 48, so no. Oh, that's bad.
Uh-oh, that is very bad for Khloe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is a soft lock right there.
Oh, dear.
Hard
And
lock, not soft lock. My bad. Wrong word.
it's a lock.
It's a lock of some kind.
Unfortunately, that means Khloe Prower is going to have to go back down to the mini Moldorm cave. Get that cape back again at some point in time. Get those silvers again. There's the bow! Oh, Khloe was trying to dash into the tunnel there, that back entrance, and wound up picking up the bomb instead. The only good thing here for Khloe Prower, this is not an elimination game, because I know you'd be feeling worse. You'd be feeling worse about it if this was an elimination game. You have a race to give, but, Schulzer being the number 1 seed here in brackets, not necessarily the runner you want to give a race advantage to.
Mm-hmm.
Item number 1 of this Eastern Palace, which is a crystal, is a piece of heart, while Khloe Prower's heading through the escape. Hyrule Castle. What nice calming music we have on this afternoon stream.
Indeed, yes. I believe Schulzer is using the Octopath Traveler MSU pack.
Khloe Prower getting a piece of heart to refill the life. As you see, Khloe Prower's trying not to... Unfortunately, I don't think Khloe Prower meant to get rid of the guard. So now, 3 bombs, 4 bombs is what it's going to take to go back to start.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious to what we're going to get here at the Armos Knights. Seed gave us a lamp early, gave us these bow and silver arrows relatively early too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely seems to be pointing here very early.
3 more items inside of this escape for Khloe Prower, but nothing on this trip in so far. And it's worth noting that the winner of this matchup between these two gets the winner of the Structural Mike versus Jet 082. How about that for a next round match?
Yeah. I mean, especially, like, you know, thinking, like, if you're in Khloe's footsteps right now, like, you know, obviously taking on the #1 seed of the bracket stage for this tournament, but have a potential to take on the tournament champion from 2 years ago.
10 arrows a reward from the Armos Knights, so the next progression chain is not here. We get the bow for the sake of having the bow at this point. And Khloe Prower is heading over towards the eastern area, so we'll get the bow. We'll not have these silver arrows for the return for the trip into Eastern at this point, but we'll be happy to at least get that bow.
Yeah, definitely.
But now the big question is where is our progression?
Yeah, starting to run a little empty on that. Looks like Schulzer gonna...
He wants that hammer.
Yes, he does.
And pulls it off right there to get him into the portal. Now it's going to have to do it one more time to set it up when we get over towards... Oh, he wants to check and see what we have from Hobo first.
I imagine this is going to be a Hobo check right back down to the Zora area to do what you were referring to.
Yep.
Yeah, we did see this on Khloe's side earlier. We are just going to get a piece of heart for this.
So Khloe now heading through this Eastern Palace. So 2 pieces of heart and 10 arrows. The reward for doing this dungeon. Slim, where do you think the next progression chain is?
Well, just thinking about what we have available to us right now.
I think there's only 2 options left to us.
I think you're right. I think we just have the Sanctuary Bonkrox and the Gina.
Yep. In logic, I want to point out, because as you can see from Khloe Prower, with that powder that we got in the back 3 of Escape, combined with this hammer that Schulzer's about to do a sequence break to get, we can do Magic Bat, but he's not in this current progression chain.
Yeah. So right now, logic is definitely pointing at the most likely scenario being Palace of Darkness, but you know, obviously our runners are not going to make that their current resort at the time. As you can see, Schulzer trying to pick up the hammer here using the Ancilla Splash Deletes.
1 and 2, well done. And we can't even get to Palace of Darkness just yet because we don't have a glove to get us into the Dark World.
Don't we have a way to get to Dark World that doesn't require glove or hammer?
Oh, you watch your mouth.
I will not.
Slim keeps wanting to push the Saganum seed on us. And that's the 3rd option, in addition to the other 2 that we mentioned.
But, I mean, I'm just speaking in terms of volume density right now. We have those 2 in logic checks that we mentioned, but you got like 4 or 5 more in pod, so...
You're right.
There you go.
I don't like your answer, but I have to accept it.
Hey, it's not like you're running this seed.
How do you know I'm not playing this in the background?
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get a sneak peek of the seed. Maybe do some things that the other runners aren't doing. So you're trying to get some info before they do.
That's how I knew it was going to be Quake for Go mode.
Okay. Okay, dude.
Just as a note, we don't have prior knowledge of this seed. All we found out was at the same time that they rolled this seed, 18 plus minutes ago was that we are dealing with tournament hard. But which one would you want to check first? Sanctuary's Bonk Rocks?
I would definitely check Sanctuary Bonk Rocks because that's a pretty quick check.
Yeah, Gina always feels like a rough go-to when you've already done the dam.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those checks that, like, you know, I'd feel at least a bit confident maybe leaving it for later and not going to it. Because my odds are just so much better doing the other stuff.
Agreed.
And you can also, like, you know, get it done with some other stuff as well once we do get Desert Axes, for example.
Yep. Or you can maybe get yourself a flute. Schulzer is lucky that that heart piece did not fill up his life. Because that's always salt-inducing when you wind up trying to set up that death warp and, hey, here's a piece of heart. Da-da-da-da!
Hey, look, my health is restored.
So, for those of you who are curious what's going on with Khloe Prower, they know the Silvers are in the mini Moldorm cave. They wound up getting hit while in fake flipper mode and had to reset, so they lost the progress that they had in the mini Moldorm cave as well as the Ice Rod cave. They know what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing inside of that over there at the Bonk Rocks. And it looks like Khloe Prower is going to be setting up for the Hula Hand, not knowing that there's 300 rupees in the dam. Not the dam, the waterfall.
Right, yeah.
So now down to Agina in the Light World, or that other place.
That magical place.
Yes,
where dreams are born.
You can call them dreams all you want, but they ain't dreams of mine. There is the magic powder, and Schulzer opting to take the death here, so I'm trying to figure out what the route of attack. Oh, we're heading to Aga.
Yep, so Schulzer not
going to That's what we're setting up.
Not going to check the Bonk Rocks or the Agina's Cave, which honestly, I think that this is not a bad, just because of the odds mainly. I think this is honestly a good play just to kind of, like, let's just get this out of the way. Even if it ends up like we could have potentially skipped this, I mean, at least you'll have, like, that portal that you can use for, you know, Dark World access and quick access to other things.
All right. Twitch chat, you know what to do at this point in time. The prediction is coming your way. You've got 2 minutes to get your guesses into chat. How many blue balls you believe Hagenham is going to throw our way? Put up your points up for the gamble. Is it going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 or more? Get those guesses in.
And last time I commentated and there was an Agassi, there were 10, so those high numbers are possible.
It better not be 10. You've already cursed the seed are enough here, Slim. I mean, there's really not much for us to talk about. I'm just looking at the current odds. A lot of people are saying 2. That's got the best odds right now, with second going to 3, and somebody went with the 9 or more to torture our runners. I'm kind of surprised the soldier did not take that ferry to replenish the health, knowing what this tower can do, but must be confident in his abilities to get up here with what was 2, now 3 hearts remaining.
Yeah, thankfully these last few rooms aren't too bad at this point, and You know, once you kind of know the strategy for Aghanim, you can easily do that fight without taking damage. So.
Oh yeah. So hurry it up and get your predictions in. Nobody's got anything in for 1 or 8. Maybe you could sweep the pot if it turns out to be one of those. Somebody's got 1. Khloe finding out about that harp piece, and now is going to try to get that hammer. Compliments of Ancilia. What epic music.
This MSU just reminding me that I do still need to play Octopath Traveler at some point.
Oh, Khloe Prower's having some issues with the Ancilla fake flippers. By the way, what are we at right now? We have 1 at least.
Yeah, I think it's just 1.
Oh, is this going to be a 1? That's still 1. No, 2. 3. It's going to be 3 unless Schulzer does something to mess this last hit up. There we go. It is 3. And pendants. We have pendants at the Palace of Darkness. Also, I saw Misery Mire. Misery Mire is our green pendant. We have a medallion over here on the Pyramid Ledge. And I don't know what other pendants we had at this point as well. Khloe Prower's heading over to Aghanim. So it's unfortunate that Khloe Prower lost that progress with that lockup with the fake flippers, because it turned out that they had to return to get that cape so they can go to Aghanim.
Yeah. It looks like we do have some more dungeon information that's available to us. We did find out the other pendant is Ice Palace, and we have the other red crystal at the Swamp Palace.
Can I tell you how much I appreciate trackers, like, for instance, the wonderful, always helpful link boards that we have, clicking the buttons behind the scenes with us here to make sure those icons appear. Because I didn't see that Ice Palace was our other pendant, and the same thing with Swamp being the other 5/6.
Yes. All the love and chat for trackers.
You want to do some reading?
Maybe.
Well, there's a book.
Couldn't have been a magazine instead.
Well, no. It had to be a hardcover book.
Oh, come on, they could call it like Medora Monthly or something.
I think you're a little too late to give Nintendo ideas. Rest in peace, Nintendo Power Magazine.
I know, right?
Upstairs, we find... Well, we knew we had to find a key somewhere. And we find 2 of them, of course.
So yeah, let's have another one. But yeah, since we did find the Book of Medora, where we did, this also was a bow-locked pod as a result. But the bow was very, very easily within Sphere 1, so...
Yeah, the bow being in the back of Sahashwala's closet, with the silvers being found in Mini Moldorm Cave. Khloe Prower now doing the 3 blue ball Aga fight. And because Schulzer has only found 1 non-key through this section, is going to be checking up here. Because you never want to go to the back, find out that the big key is one of the chests that you have not picked up over here.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was just a compass. The answer does not necessarily have to be here at the Palace of Darkness, because there's still a Gina that's a possibility, but I am likely to figure we're going to find the flippers real soon.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a guarantee. You know, even if we don't find anything else, we did find that book, so I mean, maybe Pod is the answer, just not the direct answer.
I mean, that is definitely a possibility that we could have Pod be the answer to get you somewhere else. There's the big key. There's the map check for Khloe Prower.
And I think we are out of small keys now.
Yeah,
we found all of them.
Which means there's a guaranteed either map or item coming up here in Harmless Hellway. It's just one of our 48. Khloe Prower making the same move, heading over here to the Palace of Darkness. It looks like Schulzer starting to set up a Death Warp.
Yep, with no mirror, Death Warp is definitely the way to go.
There's the map, which means the next two are going to be guaranteed, or next three are going to be guaranteed items.
So are we going to be following that book, or got one more item to see?
Schulzer did not want that to be Sankar right there, but down to one heart, heads the bomb up. We're going to bomb ourselves after we check this. There's our flippers.
Oh, man.
So a double dip requirement of Palace of Darkness if Helmsar King or the pedestal has something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost betting that Khloe Prower gets the flippers out of that chest and does not think about coming back here.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't either at this point. Like, I mean, it's always annoying to leave one item behind, but, you know, that could be some time Khloe gets back. I mean, obviously she's in the dungeon here with Schulzer now, so...
Yeah. But it could also be a move that pays off if Khloe Prower takes the flippers to the hammer and, like, for instance, goes over towards Hype Cave and pulls off something there.
Yeah. Lots of possibilities.
That is the other possibility that we do have access to. Also, Magic Bat could have something now.
Mm-hmm.
Khloe Prower without the hammer has to take the Death Warp there. So that's going to be one of the cases here where not having the hammer is going to hurt Khloe Prower. But as long as they stick through it and pull out the flippers out of here, and we know we need the flippers because of Swamp Palace.
Yep.
Khloe's going to be in a decent shape here. It's just the question, what do we do afterwards? Schulzer setting up spin speed in order to get the extra hitbox here. Needs to be careful. I thought Schulzer was going to get hit with that fireball rather. But one silver arrow, down goes Helmsar King. And pendant here for Schulzer and one of our 48. So short term, not having the hammer is not a deterrent to Khloe Prower. Like if Schulzer dropped or the Helmsar King dropped like the fire rod or ice rod, that's devastating. And as you see, Schulzer has the hammer out, and I believe we're heading to Hype Cave next.
Yep, Hype Cave definitely seems like the next logical place to make a move. 5 items right there.
Game number 2 between Schulzer and Khloe Prower. We're in tournament hard mode this time around. A little bit different than the inverted key sanity they had in game number 1. All right, Hype Cave. Some digging money. One of our 48. A boomerang, one of our 48, and one of our 48.
Well, I know we do have a Hype Cave, but we also have 2 other Dark World checks we can make as well.
Stumpy will be the first of the 2. And then we wrap up this route with the digging game. But of course, we got that book, so therefore desert could very well be our answer, and that the glove is sitting right out there.
Yeah, very well could be.
That's 5 rupees, which is not guaranteed to be one of our 5 rupees. It could have been one of our bottles. It could have been something else that we haven't seen. There's the flipper picket for Khloe Prower, a save and quit, and now we're going to get that hammer. Five, 6 digs, 7 digs, 8 digs. Here we go. That's 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. Here we go. 14 down, 15 halfway home. Where's our item?
Getting the full load of digs today, apparently.
Hey, 25 to get a heart piece. Khloe Prower getting the hammer. And where do you think it is, Slim? Do you think it's over at the desert area, or do you think it's on Magic Bat?
I think it's probably going to be in the desert area, I'm pretty sure. But, I mean, the odds haven't exactly been playing to my favor completely, so...
Well, we still haven't found that can of Samaria yet.
True.
And that was your vote for Go Mode.
Yes, and this was an Agaseed, as we discovered, so...
And Link Force, her answer of a sword still remains out in effect here as well. So that's 2/3 of the crew who still has a chance here. Mr. Salty about the Quake Medallion being in that drop down.
Are you okay, Rick?
No, I'm not. Khloe Prower going back into the Dark World, so it's going to be checking Hype Cave here.
Yeah.
And yes, to answer chat, both runners have done Scamfish. Scamfish was one of our 48.
So we'll be cooking up here on the ledge.
Hi!
Wait, that doesn't logically...
That doesn't
do
it.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It gets us to the west side of the Dark World.
Yes, it does.
All right, 2 items inside. This is a beatable dungeon.
And it is a 5 and 6 crystal, too, so... Definitely going to give it some weight as well.
But Witty Words isn't in this tournament.
He is not.
Key on the torch, so this required the boots, logically. Well, it required the boots no matter what, because the big key's over here on the right-hand side. And so, we get ourselves the big key right there. And we get a red 20 out of the chest here. We'll grab that hook shot real soon. That hook shot does give us West Side Dark World access, as Slim has pointed out. And then the world kind of opens up, although I think the next stop would be Thieves Town.
Yep, that seems like a good place to go. We have all the items we need to fully complete that dungeon. It's a crystal. It's surrounded by a bunch of other checks, so
yeah,
you're kind of getting stuff along the way. So,
and also we now know that the second item of this Desert Palace is going to be over on Lamo. Khloe Prower is going to be checking its magic bat for us, so we get a new check coming up here real soon. And Schulzer is not doing... Oh, wait, we don't have a glove. Never mind.
Oh, you know what? I forgot all about that. Yeah, we need a glove to beat Desert.
That hook shot is kind of getting in my way here. So we cannot beat Desert. Commentators sometimes mess up.
Everyone messes up sometimes. That's what makes us all awesome people.
Well, Magic Bag wants to give 1/4 of their love to Khloe Prower, and Khloe Prower now will head over towards the desert area, get that hook shot. We still can't check Catfish for the same reason why we can't beat Desert.
So we're going to be getting this glove soon, I'd expect, because, you know, we're kind of being locked out of some very key locations and areas of the world right now.
Yes, we are. First, we're going to get a check over here at the Magic Cape. Bumper ledge, that is. And it's just for some money. What if our next thing found is the mirror?
Well, that definitely puts Swamp on the table in a very big way. And you know, like I don't hate that idea. I find that, you know, it's when you're kind of in this state where you're missing gloves of some kind. Usually, the like early dungeons of Dark World are kind of the best places to check for that. And as we know, Swamp Palace is traditionally crystal number 2. So,
and so therefore, Khloe Prower finding out about that hook shot over there on the edge. Schulzer getting the free bomb on the 50-50 attempt. And now the chest game awaits. But instead, we get a ability to finish another dungeon after we're done with Thieves Town. That is by way of Fire Rod to finish Skull Woods.
But gonna stop on at Thieves Town first, though.
Thieves Town starts off with a small key, which obviously we already have the hammer, so no real issues going on here. And we get ourselves the map because you feel good about yourself about finding the map there.
Seeing a lot of dashing on both sides of the stream here.
Well, these two are dashing folks. I would like for you to follow them. There's our glove.
Yeah.
And there is our big key. Schulzer, who had some hefty competition in his group, had Zen Arcane and In the Name of DT battling it out for that number 2 in that group.
Yep. No, Zen Arcane was a big contender in the Challenge Cup last year. In the name of DT, definitely a name that's been in bracket stage more than one occasion for sure. So definitely was a tough competition for sure. Managed to come out of that group again with a 6-0 record. Very, very impressive. Our number 1 seed for this stage of the tournament as well. So definitely kudos to Schulzer on that.
And also had Swedish Arctic Fox in that group as well. Zon Arcade and Swedish Arctic Fox that both had the opportunity to play in the Cross Keys tournament last summer. Fine competitors they both are. Actually, I think Swedish Arctic Fox was the All Dungeons Key Sanity tournament this past winter.
Mm-hmm.
Khloe Prower, the second member out of Group C, had Average Frustrated Gamer and Drakian as the 2 non-qualifiers. The winner of that group was P-Train.
So yeah, like a lot of strong names that both of our runners had to contend with, and here they are now contending with each other as well.
Yep, and as we've already seen here, game number 1 went in the direction of Khloe Prower in the Inverted Key Sanity. Which really tells you that the number 1 seed and the number 64 seed, they're numbers.
Yeah,
they're a measure of your true competition skill.
Yep, they're just little statistics more than anything.
Have we found anything inside of this Thieves Town while I was going over that spiel about the R2 runners?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that we've found here is that glove that we found in the first 4.
Yep. Khloe Prower unfortunately checking Skull Woods before checking the Village of Outcasts, so this will be an unfortunate result of finding out the fire rods down in the village before. Oh. There's the mirror!
Okay.
And that now makes it 3 dungeons we can beat. Thieves Town now complete. We can also go up into the mountain and do Hera. Skull Woods is beatable, and Swamp Palace also beatable. And Desert Palace too, so that's 4 dungeons we now can beat.
Okay, so, Tower of Hera, definitely a possibility, and, you know, a lot of items up there as well. We're kind of getting to that point where we're, you know, running down, like, the remaining items that we need for this seed. Still need to find the Cane of Samaria and Ice Rod, need to find a second sword, need to find a second mitt, and, don't have all the medallion information either. Ether could still come into play as well.
Yeah, we still got to figure out what's going on with that quake. Oh, wait. And judging by the way I think Schulzer wants to route this, you do Skull Woods now because you're already through this portal. Oh, Khloe Prower taking a death before we could get to the pinball chest. But you do this Skull Woods first because this is the end of your current route. Then afterwards, you consider doing Swamp Palace afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you also just kind of want to take care of like those other checks that we have in the North Dark World. Like we have a Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb we can now access. Best to kind of just write those locations off, so just so you never have to kind of return to this part of the Dark World again. You can kind of focus more on the other places you need to go.
All right, so Schulzer making the way through in that room. Gets ourselves the small key now. Schulzer's not going to where Khloe Prower is just yet, because you're going to finish this dungeon first and then head over to this section afterwards. Mm-hmm. But there was really nothing over here, just keys and maps.
Mm-hmm.
Which means both of the items for this dungeon appear to be fire rod blocked.
Wow. But we're also going to get a pedestal check as well. Looks like
catching that.
It is a unique item on the pedestal, but not one our runners are going to want to go after.
And Schulzer's doing this to hope for a sword. Because Fighter Sword Mothula is not a fun fight.
It's not, definitely.
Kata Samaria!
Well, that's not going to be our go mode item like I thought it would be, but...
The more we're going through this seed, the more I'm thinking Link Force is right.
Yep, that second sword is still on the table. You know, you could still technically even be in the right ballpark if it's like, you know, ether we need. But again, we'll find that out later when we get the other glove.
Nice shot of the arrow there for Schulzer. Now, time to see how Schulzer does. With Fighter Sword, Mothula pulls out the hammer.
It does do more damage than that Fighter Sword, so I don't blame him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 4 hammer hits if you can get him away from the spikes versus, what was it, like 16 hits with the hammer or something like that? Beautiful fight. Piece of heart, one of our 48.
There we go, and that will give Schulzer his 3rd crystal. As you mentioned before, there are 3 others that we can also get now as well.
Yep, we can do everything except for Turtle Rock. So with both items in hand, Schulzer, and I'm surprised at this. Maybe we're checking Graveyard Ledge now, so that way we don't orphan it.
Yeah. And especially right now, since, you know, we're obviously still lacking flute and all these other convenience items, best to kind of just get these marked and just out of your mind.
Oh, yeah. You don't really want to create loose squares because they find ways of coming back to hurt you. And Schulzer also hasn't done Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb yet. Both of them are accessible to us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know this was going to be one of our 48 here, but we don't know what's in King's Tomb. We don't know what's in Graveyard Ledge. In chat noting that we don't have the flute or the Titans-Smith, and that's the other reason why we can't get into Ice Palace as well. But as far as crystal dungeons are concerned, the only one we can't do at this point is Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and it's always interesting being in a case like this where...
Sword!
Okay, well, not going to be sword either.
And therefore, all 3 of us are eliminated.
But as I was saying, like, you know, when you have the means to clear 6 crystal dungeons, yet you still need 2, potentially even 3, to clear out the last one.
Schulzer are now going to go check to see what we have inside of King's Tomb. That sword could get away from Khloe Prower, and that's one of my concerns at this point. There are 2 more swords in the pool, and you're capped at Tempered Sword. So it's not like Khloe Prower may never get Tempered Sword. It's just I'm worried if the other swords are in awful locations. And that's also a possibility.
You know, after Khloe Prower finishes both Thieves Town, which, congratulations, beat Blind, you've done that. First one.
Yep.
You know, there are going to be some other interesting options. Like, obviously, we see Schulzer going to be kind of taking care of some of this overworld stuff, probably getting into Swamp shortly after. But there is still the possibility where, you know, maybe after Skull Woods, Khloe decides to go up the mountain instead. And what if there's, like, all the items are up there that could potentially allow Khloe to skip out on a lot of the Swamp Palace stuff?
Yeah, and I think, honestly, that is what you need Khloe Prower, if you're rooting for Khloe Prower to sweep this series, is for something to be in a direction that Schulzer's not heading, and the mountain seems to be the obvious one.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that does kind of give a little bit of weight to that is, you know, kind of getting that medallion intel as well. So that way you kind of get that idea. Oh, well, you know, you can't do that yet. You don't have mitts yet. But you might find mitts up there where you can get that.
You could. It's not like we haven't seen that happen before.
Mm-hmm.
But Khloe Prower's making the move that we would expect of this stage, heading over towards Skull Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Game number 2 between these two fine competitors. Be sure to give them a follow. All the seeds that they've played for our enjoyment. Because you know some of them haven't been for their enjoyment. Titansmiths.
Okay, there are the Titansmiths. That's one of the items we need. Still looking for Ice Rod and potentially even a medallion, but at the very least, Ice Rod's the big thing we need.
And honestly, I think the Titansmiths being there is bad news for Khloe Prower.
Yeah.
Now, again, maybe we find something off the beaten path, but those mids are going to scream go up the mountain for Schulzer.
Yeah.
Nice
Ooh.
magic drop right there. And I think Khloe realized that they don't need a key at this stage. You've already done the front section, so the keys are irrelevant. So we're going to pull out the hammer for this fight again. Name of the game is just keep it away from the spikes. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I knew there was just one hit left, but still, you know.
Yeah, when you're that close to it, though, you worry that you're going to get hit first before you get that hit off. Yeah. Especially with that wonky hammer hitbox. All right. Skullwood's down for Khloe Prower. And we find one of our 48 and the big key. Khloe Prower about to get the Cane of Samaria here from the underneath. And another of our 48 to give Schulzer a heart refill. And Khloe Prower is going to find out that it's the bug catching net for the pedestal, do the save and quit. So that kind of eliminates any possibility of them getting to Graveyard Ledge.
Yep, so they are going to be down a sword, unfortunately, for right now.
Schulzer doing the work against Argus. Thankfully, just wised up and didn't try to attack at that point. Saved himself the damage. You don't want to get... I mean, it's not a difficult fight, but it's easy to lose control of it if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one of our 48.
And there's one of our 7 crystals.
I think Schulzer, before they leave this area, checks to see what we have at the Bombo's tablet.
I think so, too.
Maybe he actually does desert first. Before going up the mountain.
Yeah, I can see that being also a thing. Just jump right down and get it done. You don't know if you're going to find that flute along the path, so...
Because that flute could very well be in Ganon's tower.
Mm-hmm. Just a blue rupee, though. Blue roop.
And here we go to desert. We do know that Lamoldas will be dropping an item from earlier discussion.
And with this, Khloe will get the mitts.
There they go. And this does also open up the Pyramid Ferry opportunity if we need to dive into that. Which, by the way, the Pyramid Ferry, I think, is the last real opportunity we have of routing in catfish.
Mm-hmm. The
other question mark here is what's on left side swamp? Schulzer did not do that.
Yep, so if that ice rod does happen to be on that left side swamp, that could definitely swing some things back in Khloe's favor because, when is Schulzer going to go back to do left side swamp? I imagine not over anything else in the seed for sure.
However, I want to say there's only one item remaining in this dungeon.
It could be the one, though,
Absolutely. What has a one remaining check ever come back to hurt you? Too many times. Khloe Prower trying to hookshot the heart to try to duplicate it. Big key was found. It was on the sucking chests. But yeah, it was just one item remaining in this dungeon. But it could be the one. Map, compass, and an item. Okay, Lamos. Blink and you miss it. And it's one of our 48.
Okay, that gives Schulzer crystal number 5. I think we're going to the mountain next. Or maybe pyramid before, I don't know. We'll find out.
There's a save and quit for Schulzer. And starting at the sanctuary tells us it's a trip to the mountain. So we're either 2 or 3 items away for go mode at this stage.
And we'll definitely get that intel on what Turtle Rock is going to be.
But Schulzer's going to check this first. Checking the item first instead of going inside of the cave. And we'll find out that was nothing important as far as the item was concerned. But this was the logical ag it required to see this. It was quite obvious at that point based on where the glove and the mitts were. Khloe Prower having a little struggle here against Argus. It is a tricky fight if you wind up getting stuck with the pokes because that takes away your sword spins.
Yeah. So you have to kind of like move out of the way quickly when you latch onto them just so you don't waste that.
And that's also rude when his spin winds up taking it away from you.
Just needs to get the silver arrow hit in.
A little off time there, but gets it on the second try, which is good. And there is the one of the 48 for Khloe Prower. And at this point, Khloe Prower, do you go back in? You've seen 5 of your 6 items here. This is the part that could make or break this race. And what was that? Must not have been important.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
It was a red rupee. Khloe Prower's walking away from Swamp Palace. Looks like doing the same exact thing that Schulzer's doing. Which, honestly, I can't blame them.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say the same exact thing, actually. Just due to the nature that, obviously Khloe lost some time early on due to the fake flipper death.
Oh! That's rude. Right in front of the door.
Dead rocked out of Hera, I guess.
And Khloe Prower finding out that 5 rupees that Schulzer picked up from the Bombos tablet was actually one of our shields.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right.
As the text on that box said, have a better defense in front of you.
I suppose you could try to hold the rupee out in front of you to block any attacks. It may not be the best defense, but...
Have you ever stuck out a quarter in front of you to block attacks?
Once.
I feel like there's a story here.
But we'll have to save that for another time.
Okay. So far, big key, map, and compass. There's 10 arrows. Now it's either the key or item number 2. That's going to be coming up here with Moldorm. All right, Moldorm 2 coming up here for Schulzer. 3 spins of the Master Sword is what it will take. And down goes Moldorm. And it's one of our 5.
And that is crystal number 6 for Schulzer.
And we don't know if we can enter the 7th one at this point, but that will be the next destination for next destination for Schulzer. And 3 silver arrows, and down goes Lamola. Schulzer checking Spike Cave. This is a check I think actually makes sense. You're about ready to head to the right side of the mountain. If this turns out to be Ether or Ice Rod, you'd love to have it to go towards Turtle Rock with.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's 3 bombs. And interesting, Schulzer's just going to leave here. Probably feels it's faster to do this than to take the save and quit back to the old man. Khloe Prower going up the mountain, so it is going to be, again, a case where Khloe Prower really needs to do something that Schulzer isn't already have done if they're going to have a chance here.
One thing to keep in mind about Schulzer's not save and quit right there is that he does have Aga beaten, so...
Oh, good point, yes. So you would have to start on top of the pyramid and then do a mirror.
And then another save and quit right after that, so...
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is a very strong point, yes. You see, that's the difference between being a number 1 seed and being something else. Is you think about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of our 48 plus 3 bombs. Pet has been checked. Pet is dead. It's a bug-catching net. If you're hoping for the memes, we're not getting them today. We already had the blue ball fight. Another of our 48. Another of our 48. And the red and blue.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to be giving Khloe Prower some props here. I mean, you know, despite the fake flipper incidents, has managed to relatively stay pretty close to where Schulzer has been. The only unfortunate thing is, like, due to that incident, I kind of feel like Khloe's maybe playing like a little more aggressive and kind of leaving some things out, which is kind of the same thing Schulzer's doing as well. So we're not exactly seeing really any divergence here. So
yeah, and that's what Khloe Prower needs, is some sort of a divergence to force this seed to go into their favor. It's not going to help at this stage if you're doing the same things that Schulzer's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Schulzer is the one that has the sharper execution.
And the sharper sword right now, too.
That too, absolutely. And an even more sharper sword.
Well, we know Khloe's going to at least get Master Sword, but...
Yeah. And if we see a green 20 on Schulzer's side, that will be the tempered sword for Khloe Prower. We're going to see what we have on the floating island first. And that's a red 20. And Schulzer's going to head up over here to Turtle Rock to see if we have admission into our 7th Crystal Dungeon.
Let's find out. Oh my gosh, we need either.
You mean we haven't found the doorstep here?
I guess not.
Schulzer finding out that we can't get into Turtle Rock, so we're going to be going through Spiral Cave. Here's the hammer fight. Oh, fall down.
Yeah, that was kind of an awkward side to be on in that boss arena, just because there's not really a lot of room on that left side.
And 10 arrows there. Oh, middle hold!
Oh.
This is even worse here for Khloe Prower. And now you've got to shake this off.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Now, if you're Schulzer, what do you think about? Well, you still got one item inside of Swamp Palace that you left behind. You've got Pyramid Fairy into Catfish. Also, with that Bombos and the Fire Rod, you also have admission into Ice Palace on the table. And you have the Breadsmith and Hammerpeg tour here.
Yeah, and I feel like Schulzer is kind of going Smith Chain into Ice Palace potentially. Or actually, Smith Chain maybe into Pyramid Fairy right after.
That would make sense too, yes.
Yeah, because at least after Purple Chest, you're kind of near the bomb shop.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're near there and you're near Ice Palace, so it could be either or at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Khloe Prower immediately heading over here towards the right-hand side, not going to go into Spike Cave just yet. And again, a divergence is what Khloe Prower needs. As we search out both the Ether and the Ice Rod. There is the Ether!
Oh, there's Ether. But now that since you're on like the ground again, do you go ahead and kind of still finish up these checks, or?
I think obviously you have to finish this part of the check here with the Breadsmith.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a harder one with the purple chest, but I think you do that since it's the loose square.
Yeah, and there's already been like a number of loose squares as well. At least on Schulzer's end, anyway. Yeah, it looks like he is going to be taking the purple chest with him.
So as we make our way over towards the locksmith outside of the desert, Schulzer would love for this to be the Ice Rod, to be immediately in go mode. If not, probably is going to be considering a trip into Turtle Rock at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Going back into the Dark World, we are going to get that Pyramid Bomb.
Yeah, this will definitely cut out some of those loose squares we were talking about, because obviously Catfish is also on the table too, so could also take that out of the equation.
I think Schulzer wants to be sure that Ice Rod is here first before we go any further.
Yeah.
Dupe attempts here for Schulzer. Use the menu to help out. There's the purple bomb. The pink bomb, rather.
I see more orange than pink, but I don't know. We all see colors differently. The main point is bomb goes boom, explodes, tears down walls at the end.
48. And that's blue, but it's not the blue we are looking for.
Definitely not.
And here goes Catfish.
And see, after doing Catfish, Schulzer will be in a position where literally he's just a mirror and a waterfall portal away from Ice Palace. But, you know, obviously Turtle Rock is definitely available. And it has... Actually, never mind. I was going to say it has the potential for a thing I love doing, which is the portal save. You can actually not do that because Aga's been beaten. But yes, I saw Schulzer get kind of stuck on the wall there.
I've had that happen to me once before. It was in the first tournament, facing off against F. Coughlin. It's a weird thrill when you wind up getting knocked onto the rocks like that. And Khloe Prower is going to Ice Palace.
Well, we have a divergence. Maybe.
Yeah, there's the saving quit for Schulzer.
We have a divergence here.
So if you're Khloe Prower, if you're cheering on Khloe Prower, you want the ice rod to be here.
You want the ice rod to be here, and you also want to not find the flute because.
And you also want to. I was going to say you want Schulzer to find that flute.
Yes, you do.
There's one of our 30, or rather 48.
Nice icebreaker by Khloe.
That's one of our second item of this dungeon. One final chance for Khloe Prower to find this ice rod here in this ice palace.
Small key. Gonna keep on going?
You kind of have to at this stage. And it's not here.
Okay.
But at least the 3 items were early.
They are, but, you know, Schulzer already kind of having the head start in the Turtle Rock right now. Can't really think of anything. Left side swamp. Left side swamp is still on the table.
Or the big chest of swamp. One of those, the 6th and final item inside of that swamp palace. Khloe Prower needs to do the breadsmith chain or head over in that direction. And I think Khloe Prower at this point is going to do the pyramid ferry.
Mm-hmm.
Now that little turn downward made me think maybe she was going back, or they were going to go back in for that 3rd and final, or that 6th and final, but that's not to be the case here. As a reminder, winner of this series gets Structural Mike or Jet 082 in the 2nd round of this bracket round. Ooh, danger. Gets the change humps to bite. Where do you think this answer is, Slim?
I gotta think like it's gotta be in Turtle Rock, unfortunately. Even if it's not in here, like it's pretty likely we're gonna find the flute.
Yeah. At this point, it's the 5 versus 1 rule.
Yeah.
Khloe's going to get that tempered sword.
Yeah, just trying to think of like any other locations, but running pretty empty. Or both of our runners here have cleared out quite a bit of the seed after all.
What if that 6th item in swamp was the flute? To get to the ice rod on Sahasrahla, the green pendant turn-in. There's tempered sword for Khloe. With a quick check of King's Tomb here, which we know was not the answer from Schulzer. But yeah, it's either that 6-item inside a swamp, or it's going to be on the path that Schulzer's taking right now. There's nothing else available to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Khloe Prower has one bigger problem. One of the things that they have not checked out... Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! One of the things that Khloe Prower has not checked out yet is the 5th and final item inside the Palace of Darkness. They did not have the hammer going in, so they could not beat the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
What if they start to think... There's our Sanctuary Heart. What if they start to think that it is the fifth and final item in that pod, which they didn't have hammer for, that they try to get with the Ancilla deletion?
Right, yeah. That's true. There are definitely some more squares there for Khloe at this point.
Khloe is about to do the Breadsmith chain. We know there's going to be a key here on Laser Bridge.
There's Chloe's Ether Medallion.
Mm-hmm. Compass, so 2 items max. There's the small key, which we knew we were going to get. 50 rupees. And, oh my goodness! The flute!
The flute has been found. So yeah, it looks like Schulzer's going to turn in the mushroom first before...
Mm-hmm. Only because they started back up on the pyramid.
Yeah.
Khloe Prower about to go into this Turtle Rock, and I think at this point, this kind of cements where this race is going.
Yeah, unfortunately that is the case. It'd have to be a thing where Schulzer would need to, like, decide to dip in the Ice Palace for whatever reason first, but even then, those items weren't too far into the Ice Palace anyway, so...
Mm-hmm. 10 arrows on the mushroom turn in. We'll grab the green potion. And I like that rupee count.
It's a very lucky number, I'd say, yeah.
I would say so. Khloe Prower needing this to sweep the series 2-0. Schulzer, with this, would force a game 3. And for those of you wanting to watch the other side of this bracket, Jet Structural Mike. That series begins tomorrow, 4:10 p.m. Eastern, game number 1 of that best-of-3 series.
And just very quickly looking at the cards that were generated for this race and whatnot, we had 3 cards of Tournament Hard and 3 cards of Tournament McBoss on the table. Tournament Hard was obviously chosen, so pretty good chance the game 3 will be the McBoss mode. But obviously,
there it is at 1 hour 22:34. Schulzer in Meyershed has found our go mode.
Indeed. So at this point, Schulzer just needs to finish up Turtle Rock.
This would have been a great place to be able to do your portal save to get back onto Turtle Rock's laser bridge, but unfortunately, Aga was required, so there was no way we could save the portal.
Yeah. And I really, really love that portal save, too. It's just so nice. Like, even just going to the lengths of what you can to save it in some cases, it can be just a real good time saver.
It's amazing to see the lengths that some of our veteran runners go to do to actually save that portal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they know when to say when it's time for them to give up that portal and when to keep it around.
Mm-hmm.
Schulzer getting dead rocked over here. That's unfortunate.
Also, not the first time he's been dead rock today.
Yeah, that unfortunate placing of the one right in front of the entrance of the Tower of Hera.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're going to get a game number 3 between these two. And as you pointed out, it looks like Mick Boss could be the one that's heavy on the table.
Yeah, but, you know, obviously it's not a 100% guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, we could still get tournament hard for all we know.
Right. It'll lessen the chances significantly, but I think there'll still be at least one card on the table at the very least.
The deck of cards would have made things interesting through this entire run of the tournament. Being told that there will be no cards for tournament hard. I think it would remove 2 per player, actually. I think
Okay.
Iceman's right.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, 2 gets taken away from each, so yeah. 3 minus 4 equals 0 in our book. And showing the comment in chat, we don't want to think about that in regards to the Trinex thing. We do not want to think about that. We know it's a possibility. That's cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah, whatever works, works.
Yeah, Link Force pointing out, we have ourselves a full tracker here.
Yep, you know, obviously some items will be missing in regards to, like, you know, upgradable items that get removed in this mode, but everything else is fully up there. Obviously, Net's not on the tracker, and that's going to be staying there on the pedestal at this rate.
All right. Trinex fight coming up here for Schulzer. Get that epic boss music here. All right. Trinex is down. I know how to work this chat. Slim!
I'd hope so.
We're going to do a guessing game here, and we've got very short amount of time to actually do it.
Okay, well, we have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower that could have the big key of Ganon's Tower. We're trying to find out what numbered location that big key will be.
Go ahead and put your channel points in there as well, as we are going to be shutting that off really, really fast. So hurry it up and throw in your points. Slim, where do you think it's going to be?
Oh, it's always going to be number 8. You know that.
You think it's going to be number 8. I'm going to say number 11. What does our tracker Link Force say? Link Force is going to go almost halfway between us with a 10. Here we go.
Respectable move. I can appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. And Khloe getting the flute and probably muttering a few words to themselves.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Bombs on the torch. That's one. Small key. There we have ourselves a map, another small key, and 300 rupees. That's 5. Khloe Prower taking the death here to preserve the portal. Unfortunately, Aghanim has been killed. It's not going to work as they were hoping. Number 6, just the 20 rupees. Number 7 is the pack of 10 bombs. Like for saying I put them on the spot. I like putting the tracker on the spot. All right, for the calls of numbers 8 through 11, here's the wonderful Slim Kirby.
Okay, so what do we have here in this room? We have the big key, number 8. What did I tell you?
I should have picked Slim's number.
Yeah, probably.
Congratulations to the 22% of you who picked the 5 through 8 option. You are winners. And by the way, we do want to shout out, we have many more great matches coming your way tonight here in the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. The matches that are currently on are starting to wrap up. We have one that is not currently being restreamed at this time between Mr. Ed and Jay Misher. But we also will have GFE versus Hydra Power coming up here on this very channel, Speed Gaming 3, beginning at 9:10 p.m. tonight. Incoherent and Sorcerer Finch, another great pairing right there on the commentary, with Toffield doing the tracking for that match. And then J-Jo versus Moogle Charm. J-Jo with a 1-0 series lead. That's coming up at 10:40 p.m. tonight over on Speed Gaming 4. Mind DM and Careless Rex doing the talking Royale with cheese, clicking those buttons. A lot of great matches still to come here on the Speed Gaming and ALTTP randomizer channels.
Yep, a lot of great matches, some with cheese, as you mentioned, so, I mean, can't go wrong there.
I don't know who that dingus Rick is talking about, Incoherent. I heard he paid me $20 to say that about him. Nice silver arrow down of that Wiz robe. A lot of great commentators in this crew. Got some more great commentators coming up tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, got some great commentators, some amazing runners, some fabulous trackers, and some wonderful restreamers.
They just have to hit a start stream button. And make sure the channel stays live. And make sure the equipment works. And make sure the runners stay alive.
Oh, is that all?
And make sure that the race goes as according to plan. Not much to do there.
Also, for Mathias is asking, the reason you're hearing Octopath Traveler music is because Schulzer is actually using an Octopath Traveler MSU pack.
Yep. Which has been one of the packs that have been allowed to be thrown on the restreams in this tournament. All All right, Agate 2 for Schulzer. We don't speak anything about the tournament admins, VXR. Slim, what are those slouches doing right now?
I have no idea.
One's talking smack about us in chat, and the other two are talking smack about the runners. And meanwhile, all that has been going on. Schulzer has finished off with Agate 2. It's time to face off against Gannon. I hear the leaders are where it's at.
Indeed.
Anyways, we do all appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts on behalf of the tournament admins. All right, on to Gannon. Here we go. Let's create some bacon this dinner hour.
I could use some bacon, yeah.
Well, as soon as Schulzer fires 4 silver arrows, we'll have some bacon.
Sounds good to me. See, it gets the 1 and 1, it looks like.
Yeah, this should be pretty solid for Schulzer. Now we just hope for no warps, and we hope that Khloe Prower can finish this Trinex fight.
Let's get Trinex to phase 2 at the very least.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that first section of this next stage, as Gannon has now reduced 3/4 of the floor. Down to the bottom right. Stage number 4. Silver's the true weakness, which we found first. 1 silver arrow down. Looks like we're going to get a double here. Down here to the bottom, and that's 4. Schulzer has defeated Khloe Prower and has forced a game 3 in this first round.
Yep, get your GGs in chat for Schulzer. You know, obviously, get your GGs in for Khloe Prower as well. Despite the early fake flipper incident that happened, has still managed to keep this race very, very close. I mean, heading over to Gannon's Tower, really just Gannon's Tower behind at this point.
All right, so we'll get our runners in here to go ahead and discuss this seed in just a moment. And once again, just as a reminder, we've got more races coming up here later on. 9:10 p.m. Eastern, and also coming up at 10:40 p.m. as well. And yes, chat bring up a reminder, the bot bring up a reminder that SpeedGaming Live will be coming up here in October. But here is the winner of this race, the number 1 seed. Welcome in, Schulzer.
GG. What a scene.
Yeah, nice little agate required with a double dip of Turtle Rock, and technically, by logic, a double dip of Pod.
Yeah, I mean, it was only required to sing a bit. You didn't have to kill the boss for a hard piece.
Well, true, you're right.
But yeah, this seed felt, for me, like, super good. I was like, this is forcing me into Aga. The seed looks pretty straightforward. I probably gain a lot of time, early boost, execution. Probably gain like 1 or 2 minutes there, and then it went worse. And then I was like, wait, it's Tia, and I don't have ISOT yet. If the mirror shows up soon, and the mids, I have like 10,000 checks open. And that was around the season point, and I don't want to lose to an ISOT hunt, and then, oh, mirror. ISOT, please, before mids. Mids, ISOT and Swamp Palace on the boss, maybe? Maybe on the mountain somewhere? And then I was like, okay, it's Isa. I have more time to find ISOT before Isa. And then I check one check and it's Isa, and like, god damn it, I wanted to find ISOT first that game.
Yeah, the seed had a few jokes in it. And how about those dead rocks?
Yeah, that happens too often to me.
And
I think
we
I got that log. Oh yeah, the one before Hera, yeah.
The one that blocked your entrance completely into Hera. That was fun. We do welcome in your opponent here, Khloe Prower, into the conversation as well. GG's.
Hiyo, GG's.
So what went through your mind when you wound up getting that lockup on the fake flippers?
Oh man, I was just trying to remember what I had gotten. I'm like, I got both immunity items and silvers. None of those can be really needed right away, so I'm gonna come back to them, and then immediately was punished because I didn't have silvers for Eastern, and I didn't have immunity to Daga.
And then you found out you had to go back and get that K because that was your only way in to get to Aghanim.
Yep, double punished. It's fine. I mean, of the things that I lost time to, I feel like that was not the most. I feel like just general execution and routing could have been a lot better.
Yeah, if you watch this race back, you will see that for the longest time, you and Schulzer were doing the exact same thing, only because of your having to reset out of the fake flipper thing, you were behind. But it was just, you kept doing the same things, and we were at the stage where we're hoping that if you were to have a chance in the race, that you were going to have to find something off the beaten path. Unfortunately, outside of that ether, most of it was the direction you had to go.
Ether, Blue, I mean, you gamble Turtle Rock when you're hunting Ice Rod at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, like, I ran to Ice Palace because I kind of thought that Schulzer would avoid Ice Palace like the plague, and I think I was right on that, but, I mean, thankfully it was quick. It was the three items, bang, bang, bang.
You were right. It was just, that was the move that you needed to make. It was just unfortunate that it did not go into your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really scared that you maybe also, but like, I feel behind at this point because I'm playing against Schulzer, and if I took on the mountain, I'm just not going there. I'm doing everything else before, and I was really feeling that at that point. Was like, please be somewhere on the way. I don't want to have an ISO 100 this time.
So how much were you
Please
panicking when
stop.
you didn't find the ether?
I was happy it was Ether, like I said. Gave me more time to search for the ice slot, not in TR.
True.
I was annoyed that it was Ether. I was hoping that I could just... the more that's open to me, I think the better chance I have of winning against Schulzer. I feel like in straight up execution, like, I'm definitely lacking.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that to say that your execution was rough, but I do know that due to you not checking Graveyard Ledge, Schulzer had an easier time against the Argus than you did.
Right.
It was one of those little things like that, just added a small amount of time to the run there. But you know, you did keep in pace with Schulzer through the back half of the run. And kind of got lucky the fact that not having the hammer when you went into pod the first time did not come back to haunt you, because Schulzer was able to pull off the silly delete to get the hammer.
Yeah, Schulzer went before they went to Eastern, right?
I went to South Shore first, then Eastern, and then I went back for Hammer because I knew I have to go to pod anyway, even if it's a pendant, because there are flippers in pod, like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna have to do pod anyway, so I'm gonna grab the hammer before, and then I saw it's pendant, no an item on the boss. Okay, I got hammer, let's just do the boss.
Yeah, see,
if something is there, Khloe probably won't do that, and I have an edge there.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same thought with different thoughts. I checked the map, and pod wasn't required, so I said, okay, I'm gambling that the boss has nothing at all. Because I was gonna hard reset, so I had my Ancilla reset, and I could do the, or rather, I was just gonna save and quit and do the fake flipper and the water walk glitch.
Yeah.
But I would have done that if it had been a crystal, and because it wasn't, I never went back to pod.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this series tied 1-1. Have you set a date for Game 3 yet?
Not yet. It's happening
Sunday morning, if that works for you.
Yeah, Monday would probably be better if that works for you. But yeah, we have to figure it out. We haven't.
We'll
not
let you
decided.
both
Okay, yeah.
discuss this off the air when the next match is going to be. But I will ask you, and I'll start with Khloe Prower first. What mode would you like for Game 3?
I mean, I like invert keys. I feel like stuff that either of the keys modes gives me a little bit more routing leeway, which I feel like is what I need to win these. But yeah.
Yeah, might be a little difficult to pull the inverted keys with the 0 cards in that deck. I don't know if you're getting any back from the last 5 that you've done, but
I think we get 2 back and it becomes a 1.
I had I think 1 in the group stage, and that was my first one. I do not know how many inverter keys you have gotten.
I think I had 1 too.
Yeah,
Plus
was
the
it
last
early or
one
late?
stage. So I think we're go up to 1 card.
it's
Probably.
possible. It's a possibility. Obviously, your strongest chance will be in the Mick boss, but we'll see what winds up happening. By the way, GG's on the Ganon fight.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's MC boss. I only played it once in this tournament.
I never played MC Boss in groups, so we probably have like 4 cards in that one.
So,
Wait.
nonetheless, it
Yeah.
does. Well, we'll see what winds up happening for game number 3. So, let me turn to Schulzer. What mode would you like for game 3?
I don't mind. I don't want to play inverted keys again because we already had that. Like I don't think any of us has the lead in any mode in particular. But I think Ambrosia would probably be the best for me because it's usually straightforward and there are less opportunities to leave stuff behind and just to leave one objects behind. So yeah, I would probably prefer Ambrosia, but I don't really care. I like all the modes in general.
Well, we'll see what winds up happening once you get game number 3 onto the schedule. Let's get one last round of GG's for both of our runners, Schulzer and Khloe Prower. GG's on what has been a fine run through this seed.
I just want to add that if we don't get Bugnet again on pad, it is like because we already had it on game 1.
You mentioned in the race time chat that you had that in game 1, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
our game 1 invert had Bugnet on pet as well.
I was like, was it a letter race? No, that was a tournament race. Why is it Bugnet again? Out of all items.
It wasn't even like it was like the next day or something. It was like earlier this week.
Yeah. Also my text I submitted for the Cyphers appeared on the first seed. I was like, how is it happening? Bugnet on pad? My text? Crazy.
I'll turn the floor over here to Slim Kirby here.
Okay, well, as Rick already said, GG to you both. Good luck on Game 3. Great showing from both of you in this tournament so far, and of course for this race. Also, big thank you to our tracker for this race, Linkforce, keeping all of those buttons pressed so we knew what items were there, especially when we missed them. I think there was even a time that we actually needed that info when we couldn't see all the Dark World dungeon rewards. So thank you for that, Linkforce. And thank all of you guys for joining us to watch this race. It's been fun. We're only halfway through this first round as far as the dates are concerned. We have many more exciting races to come, as well as the following rounds of the tournament as well. So hope you stick with us as we see this tournament to its conclusion here in a couple of weeks.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, happening this weekend and all into next week will be Super Nintendo SNES Superstars over on SpeedGaming. More tournament matches later tonight on this channel, as well as SpeedGaming 4. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.
Later, everybody.